and what his impact was as a player in the clubhouse, everything else. So the contract looks like an absolute steal.
Be the old Ohtani, the guy who pitched and hit and was really good at both. You argue should have signed for $1 billion back when he did. But knowing what we know now, certainly Soto, as accomplished as he is not as accomplished as Ohtani.
A couple days ago, you asked Dave Roberts about his reaction to the Juan Soto contract. And now you look at what the Dodgers got with Shohei Ohtani last season with the deferrals. That contract has got to look a lot better today than it did last season, even considering how profitable and how great he is as a player.
Yeah, I mean, it was still a good deal last year, particularly with the deferred money. But now you're talking about how much money he brought to the Dodgers last year and what his impact was as a player in the clubhouse, everything else. So the contract looks like an absolute steal. So both sides are happy. He makes a killing off the field, more money than any baseball player's ever lived. Obviously, put on a historic season. Now he's going to start pitching. But yeah, I mean, would you rather have Shohei Ohtani at that contract, or Soto? You would take Ohtani in a heartbeat. Nobody would say they'd take Soto.
Yeah, so great. Do you think that contract has a chance to go down as the best superstar contract in baseball history?
It's funny. It's like a lot of scouts and executives talk about what's the best contract in history. Probably the best of all time is Randy Johnson. Diamondbacks had him a 4-year contract. He won 4 Cy Young Awards in a World Series. But yeah, it could be. That could be. If the Dodgers end up winning, a multiple, 3-4 World Series with Ohtani, then you got to consider it.
My thing that I'm looking forward to most in 2025 is seeing how Soto plays in his first year with the Mets under that $765 million contract. He had an amazing year in 24 for the Yankees. It was incredible. Third in the majors in OPS. He did some big things, 40 home runs. Well, with the Mets, the circumstances changed. Now, he was under pressure last year. Anytime a player is in his walk year, he's under pressure. But now he's the $765 million man. So I'm anxious to see how he performs. I don't expect he's going to be wavering in any way. And I'm anxious to see as well how the Mets perform, because the Mets now are in a different place in terms of where they stand in the baseball universe. Now, they kind of did this with Scherzer and Verlander a couple of years ago when they spent all that money. But Soto is 26. He's not in his late 30s or 40s. He is the generational talent that every team that could afford him wanted this offseason. So the Mets now are a focal point in a way they haven't been for several years, in a different way than they've been, I should say. So I'm looking forward to seeing Juan Soto play. I always like watching Juan Soto play. And I'm looking forward to seeing how he and the Mets handle this new set of circumstances.
Before I get to mine, I want to ask you a follow-up on the Juan Soto situation. Ken, from your perspective, what needs to happen in 2025 for you to consider Soto having a successful year? What is a successful year for him in his first year as a Met?
Normal Juan Soto year. And it's not always easy for free agents who sign big contracts, or even guys who sign extensions for big money, to perform under that new set of expectations that first year. Remember, Lindor had a tough time adjusting to New York and adjusting to the Mets. Again, I don't expect Soto to have any problems. So your basic, 950 to 1,000 OPS, 35 to 40 homers, all the things that Juan Soto does. And I would like to see him play better defense. He's going to be more challenged in Citi Field than he was in right field in Yankee Stadium. And that's going to be something we'll be all watching. So that's the thing. I expect him to have his normal year. He expects to have his normal year. People in the industry, I'm sure, expect the same. If he does, fine, great. He's done his part. If he doesn't, then the tension mounts a little bit.
At least he already knows what it's like playing in New York with those fans, with that type of atmosphere, expectation, reporters, the media. At least he has that already checked off as far as his list is concerned. Okay, mine is, again, Shohei Ohtani. We could talk about him for hours on end. And for me, Ken, I know he's not going to be ready to pitch on opening day for the Los Angeles Dodgers, but he will be back early on in the season after having that shoulder surgery in the offseason after the World Series. My thing to watch for is what type of offense will Shohei Ohtani be able to do in 2025?
I'm very confident Alana's saying that he's not going to steal 50 bases. He might not steal 15 bases. It's a much different equation with him on the mound now. He's going to have to preserve energy. He's not going to want to risk any injury. It's going to be the old Ohtani, the guy who pitched and hit and was really good at both. But as far as the runner, that last year was his one shot. And he knew it was his one shot, and that's why he pushed it. And that's why he became so proficient at base stealing. 50-50 was an incredible accomplishment. I put nothing past him, but I don't expect him to be stealing many bases in 2025.
Yeah, I don't think he will either. Who do you think has more pressure on him? Juan Soto signing 765 or Shohei Ohtani being the one-of-a-kind, one-of-a-generation type of player that he is? And perhaps if Shohei Ohtani was a free agent now after 765, some were saying $1 billion contract perhaps could have been offered. Who has more pressure?
For sure. Because he has the contract that was just signed, the record deal. Ohtani, you could argue, should have signed for $1 billion back when he did. But knowing what we know now, certainly Soto, as accomplished as he is not as accomplished as Ohtani. 3 MVPs in 4 years is incredible. And Ohtani has this baseline of success that he will simply build on, or not, either way, but he's done all this. He also has won a World Series. Soto has not. Soto is going to a team that has not won a World Series since 1986, a team that signed him in part because it wants to end that particular drought. So Soto, for me, has much more pressure on him, more pressure than anyone in the game in 2025. But again, this is a player that we've seen under pressure, and he's handled his pressure moments exquisitely well. Going back to the 2019 World Series, it's something he's impervious to, or seemingly is. So it'll be really interesting, again, to see how Soto kind of deals with all of this. But if it's Juan Soto and he's in the batter's box, I expect good things.